Find this.
All right. Welcome everybody. If you've read Ready Player One, type F in the chat. If you have seen the movie Ready Player One and read the book,
Burn
put
your eyes out.
yeah, then just put fire. uh, I was I'm joined today with my comedian buddy Mo Alexander. Say what's up, Mo.
What's up, people?
He's out of Memphis. I'm also joined with Mundane Matt. And if you don't know who Mundane Matt is, you haven't been listening to the Kumite.
That's right. They talk about me so much on that show. I, at this point, produce more content for them than they do.
uh, well, you got to nudge Jeff out of the way. Um, and also, the biggest loser in the band, So Fain, is with us.
Yep, yep. I prefer soy thing.
Soy Fain. All right. Before we get started with this, we're here to talk about, and this is going to be full of spoilers. So if you have not read the book, if you have not seen the movie, then you might not want to watch this, or you just don't give a shit and you'll just watch because you like to hear people bitch at each other and call each other faggots. So what we're going to be
That is
doing tonight
compelling.
is we're going to be basically cross-referencing, I think, the book and the movie, but primarily I think we want to focus on how horrible the movie was. I am in the column of the
You're
book was a-
poisoning the well a little bit, buddy.
take a look, motherfucker. uh, I am on the side of loved the book, was super excited about the movie, and massively let down by the movie. Fane, where are you at on that?
All right, look. I love the book. I love the book, and I wanna just be fair. Look, we've Matt's here, and he actually talks about movies a lot more, and I listen to his reviews. I respect his opinion a lot more on this. So I just want him to know what happened, how this went down. Pat and I showed up an hour before the movie started, and went straight to the bar and started doing shots of Jaeger.
I do want that is something that we need to
It's
clarify.
something you should know. It's
That
something
we
you should
were
know.
intoxicated while watching the movie, so that could have played a thing.
It could have.
Oh, it made it better for you. Okay,
Okay, well, Mo, where do you sit? Did you read the
I
book?
have read the book. I have listened to the audio book to refresh my memory. Last week, I was like, "Oh, I love this book. Let me listen to it." Audio book had like 12-hour days in the car. Love the audio book even better because there's a couple of little jokes in there that you only could get in the audio book.
Right,
Bam.
Wheaton talking
Movie.
about Wheaton.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yes, the Will Wheaton line made me almost pee myself. Wow. Yeah. Okay. The movie I would like to set. I would like to set Steven Spielberg and Mr. Klein on fire.
All right, well, Matt, where do you sit on it? Did you read the book?
Oh, yeah, I read the book a few years ago.
Okay. And how did you feel about the movie?
I love the movie, man. Smile on my face whole fucking time. Walked out of there just wanting to see it again.
Someone's had a finger in their asshole.
Well, you guys may have been doing shots. I was in the bathroom jerking off. Okay, we're each gonna get off in one way or the other here. No, I wouldn't. No, I really wanted to see it, and I really, really liked it.
Well, see, that's the thing is we definitely brought Matt on here to just get airtight with all of us because we are just gonna fuck that dude. um, for those of y'all don't know what getting, if you, for those of y'all that don't know what getting airtight is, that's where we put dicks in every hole. So we're gonna fill him
Really
out like
upsetting.
we're gonna fill him out like an
Not signed up
application.
for it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. So
That gives a new meaning to the entire Ohio Players song. Like, wow. Thanks.
I really I went in absolutely wanting to love this movie, and I also have the expectation. I understand that movies have to take liberties. They can't go by the book because you just can't, or it's going to be this. It's going to be
Right.
like a jack parts, and they're all going to be 2.5 hours long, like the Hobbit shit. It's just going to take forever.
Right.
Um,
I completely get it.
But I made some predictions after watching the trailer when it came out, and they did come to fruition. Not the way I was hoping they were going to. One of which is I kept seeing this car chase scene that was being set up, and I thought it was going to do one of two things for the movie. In the book, for those who read it, in the book, part of the challenge is finding the key and then getting into the gate and then accomplishing a task. So
Right.
I was expecting that they were going to shortcut that a little faster, make it just like find the key, you get to the gate, and that's it. And when I saw the car chase scene, I figured it was either going to be that they were going to make that one of the challenges that wasn't in the book. It was just they needed some action scene, and that was because honestly, if they made the clearing the gate just the guy sitting there playing an arcade game, it was going to be very lame.
Right.
So I knew that that was going to be there. I was kind of also hoping that they were just going to make that an unnecessary action scene, like just it's the Saturday races and everyone just tries to race for coin, and that was all it was going to be. But no, it was in fact it was the first gate, and I thought, wow, that was where it immediately lost me at the very beginning because I felt like you start to develop liking the main character Wade Watt because he was the underdog from the beginning, and he figured out something that only Artemis had figured out, but was also able to capitalize on it. And that also introduces Artemis of who she is and why she's so important and integral, not only to the Gunters, but to Wade himself and why he likes her so much. But she really was just some chick on a bike.
Yeah, that's what they boiled her down to. And I felt like that was a lot of mistakes that the movie made was not building any characters. Like I didn't care about anyone. I just didn't care. I was also drunk.
That's completely true. There was no love for any of the characters. I did not care about any of them, because you're like, here's where I live. Here's a video game. Here's a hot chick on a Kira's bike. Oh, too bad the bike's good. Oh, here's my good friend. Oh, shut up. I don't care about anything.
Yeah, the introductions were just kind of deliberate and immediate, and like this, they tell you just because they couldn't. I guess out of time constraint, they couldn't show the characters and their development and who they are to each other. That he had to just tell you who this person was. And,
well, I do get that, but at the same time, it's kind of like I was okay with it because in the book it's very similar too. It's like, oh hey, look, there's Artemis. Oh, I used to watch all of her. I've watched all of her Twitch streams and her Let's Plays and everything else. And then it's just like, oh, here she is in this race and shit. She just shows up. He shows up. They kind of banter. And then it's, at the end, he's trying to like save her because he understands, like he is the underdog. He's like, don't lose your bike. The shit's going to get destroyed. I don't know how much money you've got. Like Wade is all about like thrift, like they were establishing the underdog by like him going to the back of the lane in the beginning because he doesn't have enough fuel to keep going. So he's got to skim the back for the wrecked cars to collect the coins in order to get the gas. Right. So it's like he's playing. What game was it where you did that? Like I forget which game it was where you had to like your gas would run out and you'd hit these power-ups to refuel.
Oh yeah.
Cruising USA?
It wasn't Cruising USA. It was one of those like it was like a space one. But the idea there is like, yeah, like the way they set it up in terms of like him kind of doing the introduction as to what's going on, what the Oasis is, and then going immediately into what the first gate was. That caught me off guard a little bit at first. I'm like, really? That's how they're going to set it up? And then it's like, oh, okay. Like, because you only have so much time and they're establishing who Halliday was, who Og was, who Wade is a little bit.
I think that's what it was. They kind of jam-packed all the information real fast in the first 15 minutes. They're clearing the first gate.
It was like the first 15 chapters of the book in the first 8 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
Well, but I mean, and that's the downside to how these things are made. Like the problem with like as much as I enjoyed the book, one of the key criticisms against the book is it's literally just like a jerk off fest to 80s nostalgia.
Right.
And Klein will stop dead in his tracks to explain nostalgia to you.
I did feel like that there was certain times in the book I felt like he's just making so many references at this point. He is just trying to get me to rub my nipples about the 90s and 80s and shit.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. I'm a little bit older than all of you. It was really working well. I must have graduated this same year because, yeah, man, it really worked on me. So if you're specifically my age, the book really got you with the nostalgia.
I got to ask you, how old are you, sir?
I'm
late 40s.
Yeah, I graduated 1988. I graduated high school in 1988. Holy shit.
Got me about 1 year, so we were good. Okay.
Wow, you graduated high school when I was 6 years old.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was 6 at 88.
Fight me.
I don't want to break your hip.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know how old you were. Then I saw you trying to climb some stairs at VidCon. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
get
know that.
winded very easily.
He always asks where the elevator or escalator is.
Nothing wrong with
But yeah, I think that was my initial problem is that part of why my initial connection to Wade was he was clever because he had to be clever
that. It had to be
because he
clever.
didn't have money to just like buy his way into things.
Right.
Which is why it was so bad is that they were basically the corporation that you can kind of work the system using money, throwing money at everything, and that's what everyone kind of hates. They don't want to deal with it. So you like Wade because he's the underdog and he has to out clever everything. Well, it was like we start watching him, and it was like he already had the car at the beginning.
Yes, and that's the problem.
And it was like, okay, well, he didn't come across as struggling, other than he had to pick up
No.
some coin.
No, he didn't come across as struggling. He immediately was spending money by changing his haircut in the first scene you see him, and then they comment about the expense of that haircut,
Right.
making him just seem like, hey, money's not an issue.
Yeah.
well,
And
people
again,
also like they also. I agree they could have done a little bit better, and also I think in one of the trailers they had made the comment about the missing millions.
Right.
All the kids going in there for and like in the going to Ludus, the
Right.
school planet and whatnot, and then that only being referenced one time later
One
on in
time.
the movie.
And when it happened, it made me mad. At that
It-
point, I was furious anyway. But then
Okay,
they
good.
bring up Ludus, and you have no idea what that means.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like fans, obviously, it's something that people have read the book, but
Which,
going into
that
that,
to me doesn't always bother me because I've seen them do that when they've done movie adaptations where they realize that they've had to shortcut something or change something about the book, and they do just like throw out just for the readers that the rest of the people watching don't need to know. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't progress the story for them. But like in Shawshank Redemption, the fact that Morgan Freeman is named Red because he's in the book he's an Irishman. Redhead Irishman, but it wasn't necessary. But so they throw that out as one little joke in the movie where you go, well, maybe it's because I'm Irish, and people that read the book get it. If you haven't read the book, you just don't get. It's a nonsensical reference.
yeah,
I get that. But Ludus is an important thing in the book. I'm saying I'm with you. As soon as they said that one time in that throwaway line, it pissed me off. I'm like, well, now you're gonna bring that up. No one knows what that means. We don't need that line. Just take down, put something else in there. Because now now you pissed me off because I know the whole story about Ludus. No one else does who hasn't read the book. Now I'm just extra pissed. Thanks for that.
the thing is, though, I mean, like you got to look at it from the perspective of people going in who have read the book and those going in who haven't read the book. And those going in who haven't read the book, are they going to be able to get the general concept of what the Oasis is?
Well,
and I think the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Well, we had someone with us.
Test subject who went with us. So the girl, look, my girlfriend, I brought her yeah, she really didn't. I guess she understood the concept of the Oasis in a VR way. She could relate to it as being VR, but really her comments afterwards was that most of the things that were happening, she didn't really understand why they were happening, but that, man, it was really enjoying to look at. It was a lot of fun. It was nonstop action and all those things I could completely agree on.
Oh, it's a beautiful movie, but there's no substance.
The thing is, if you look at the movie from being the same perspective as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, then you know exactly what things are like, how things are going. Like the core, I mean, looking at just the idea of how the game is set up, maybe I don't know how old your girlfriend is. I don't know if I don't know. I was gonna make a crack about her being just out of high school, but whatever. And,
not this one.
Not this one. So you got her just out of college.
Oh, you know how funny this is to me. She would be the oldest one on this stream.
Yeah, she's older than me.
Really?
I'm dating someone older than me for the first time in my life.
How is that like your charity case for the year? Is that what's happening?
Look, I spent my whole life dating girls who are significantly younger than me, and so I figured I'd try the other way. See if how that works out.
The older the berry, the sweeter the juice.
No, when he found out they're all scrambled versions of each other, it doesn't fucking
matter.
It
doesn't matter. You catch them at different points in their timeline.
That's very. I would say though, but it's like just the general core concept of what the story is. You know, even when I read the book, I'm like, oh, it's Willy Wonka.
Right.
You know, and that's fine. They took the same core concept. They, you know, and they put, you know, instead of Charlie, it was Wade, and it's in a, you know, a land, you know, pure imagination. Hence why the trailers kept using
Right.
pure
I mean,
imagination.
I mean, clearly, even when I was reading the book, I knew that was part of the nostalgia as well. Is that they're playing a updated version of Charlie and Chocolate Factory, and I thought it was great. It was a great adaptation. The movie, though, didn't make me feel like Charlie, because Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I never felt like Wade was struggling poor. Yes, he grew up in the stacks, but I guess they just didn't push for this. You where you really, he needed to have some down ending for a while, or be unable to do something because of his finances. But
well, they kind of replaced the finances and they put that into the family dynamic. Like his sister is dating the jackass. The
His
guy
sister
hits
was
him.
much more likable.
Yeah, sister.
Yeah,
you know,
she
she
was
knocks him.
yeah.
Like he gets knocked down, and the guy's like, "What? What are you gonna do?" And like Wade's like felt powerless. He was powerless to do anything in that moment, right? And there could have been an opportunity there, I think, to really kind of expand upon the character, to make him, you know, want to be the hero. But that kind of comes later on in the film. You know, that kind of comes later on, because what is the general concept that they push for in the movie? By the end, at least, it's definitely all about family. You know, and it's all about love and everything else. And that was the motives they were going for, the themes, I should say, that they were pushing. And it just, in the beginning, you know, what I liked about the book was that Wade was a loner. I liked that the book was his journey, and it was specifically his journey, and he didn't want to tell.
Did the movie ever feel like it was his journey?
No,
the movie to me felt like it was his journey, but I also looked at it from Spielberg's perspective. I looked at it from Goonies. I looked at it from, you know, like the idea that you have these kids coming together in order to accomplish something great, and that is that's
He's hit me. He's hit. Matt's hitting me in a tough spot. I'm so susceptible to Goonie.
See, as an Oregonian, as an Oregonian born and raised, the Goonies is my blood. You understand? Right? Astoria is great.
It did not feel like it was his story because he immediately had a gang.
That was the thing.
He had immediately more than H, and he immediately had.
Yeah, but that's kind of what Matt's saying, is that he was taking it from and making it more of a buddy gang movie.
Yeah,
and,
because
you know what? I could
in the book he didn't want to tell, like he didn't tell Artemis how to get the first key, right? Like he didn't tell her that and everything else, because she had you know, pride and didn't want to hear it anyway. He told H.
It was also like the Gunter thing of like, if you're not in the clan, you don't share information.
Yeah, so and then that was a theme too. It was like, well, I'm not clanned, I'm not clanned, I'm not clanned. And then at the end, oh, we're the high five clan. You know, like, I mean, there were some things there that were just kind of like, okay, I get what you're getting at here, obviously. But it was like, you could see like when they mentioned Daito and Sho in the beginning, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then they're friends like right off the bat.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
Don't you call them by his cinematic name.
Shoto.
I know that it's Shoto, but it's like, you know, that caught me off guard. I'm like, why did they change his name? Is it too close to Shota? Is that it?
I have no clue. Like, and there was a couple parts where I understood that probably some royalties, like the Ultraman.
Yeah, I know that's the thing that messed me up so bad. I'm like,
but hey, look, Ultraman being replaced by a fucking Gundam though, that's fine.
That didn't bother me. I wanted it to be Ultraman, but I also know that they're about to come up with an Ultraman movie, and so maybe right now wouldn't have been, they couldn't get the rights to it. Like,
I understand that. I completely understand. I was just disappointed because
I wanted Ultraman.
Back in the day.
I expected Iron Man, but I didn't realize that they were just going to already have Iron Man. Like,
oh, you mean that Iron Giant?
Or Iron Giant. I mean, I didn't expect that he was just going to be sitting there the whole time, and we were just waiting.
Yeah, I didn't like that part either.
That was
I actually really liked the whole concept there of the Iron Giant.
The concept.
Well, no, because what it was, is the fact that H makes all of her money by building mods. She's a modder inside the Oasis, and like, if you play games at all, dealing with the modding community is a very interesting thing. And so she's got, like, I like the workshop because they never, that I believe that was a new addition, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I don't remember that being in the book, but it's been a few
wasn't.
years since I've read it.
It wasn't.
No addition.
But then so having that be her thing, so it's like she's got the big monster truck, she's got the coin to back it all up. She builds all these mods. The Iron Giant is a custom built mod that she's selling off to somebody else. Like that, I really, really, really liked because it was an interesting dynamic that wasn't explored in the book, but we're getting to see a bit of that here. There would be an underground marketplace that would be inside the Oasis.
That doesn't bother me like that so much, but it was like then all of a sudden when Mega Godzilla shows up, it was like they kept using artifacts as to hide reasons for things, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, he's got Mega Godzilla, and then it was just like, wait, what? Okay. And oh, okay, well, he's got this other artifact, and it's the Ultraman artifact, but it's going to be Gundam this time. But you don't understand that the countdown will kill him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, there is that, but it's like they kind of touch upon that in the beginning when they're on Planet Doom and everyone's going for that artifact, right? And it's like there's artifacts like this scattered all over. So they established in the first couple minutes of the movie what that artifacts exist and that they are of different things. And then when he wins the first challenge and he goes to the store and he buys Ye-Holdy hand grenade and everything else, he goes, yeah, this is a cataclysm bomb, blows everything up on the planet. Damn, that's expensive. Yeah, I know. IOI buys everything.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I understood that. I do in the long run. I do get that they had to fast track a lot of shit because it's a very big book, and to shove it into 2 hours, you're really having to do a quick cut on it.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing with the whole getting the extra life. It was.
I was disappointed that the Pac-Man scene wasn't there. I was because I liked the Pac-Man scene, but then when he flipped the coin,
it was a nonchalant moment that just happened. Like they were trying to slide it in, like they're trying to be sneaky, but like especially if you read the book, you understood what's happening. But to anybody, it was just like it just felt so fake. Like, oh, well, we have to put this is a pivotal moment, but we're not going to give it any credence.
Yeah, it didn't come with any weight. You're exactly right. Nonchalant is exactly the word, and just like and you assume, man, lots of people get these extra lives.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean the thing is, it's kind of, but then when you see who gives him the extra life, that's the whole point.
That was the only way they could shoehorn
the extra life.
That was the only way they could shoehorn Morrow back into the fucking movie.
I know. You know what they should have done, and I said this in my review. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, but I felt Og should have been like the leader of the resistance. And
stop right there. Stop. Why in the hell is there resistance?
Well, that's the thing too. They didn't really like. Well, okay. Well, they kind of explain it because if you know what I like, there's that whole scene with Sorrento, and he says that once we get control of it, we found out a way to sell up to 80% of the viewer's HUD before inducing seizure. And so you know that IOI wants it, and so you know they're the bad guy. They establish that they're the bad guy, and so then there's a pushback. But yes, I agree that they didn't fully explain what the resistance, what it would be like, and everything else. But then once IOI blows up the stacks and tries, and kills the sister and her douchebag, brother and shit, or boyfriend, that you kind of go, okay, now I can understand it. Like they should have told you, but at the same time, it's also like just you could come to the logical conclusion there would be some kind of pushback.
All the things they took out of the book. That was one thing they should have left out of the movie because it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it does because it establishes.
We established they're bad guys. We know that they're bad guys. We know IOI are bad guys because they've hired all these other people to go search for the keys for the same thing. We get to the bad guys, but why is there a need for resistance when we already have already all the guns out there looking for the thing? So
well, I think
plus the resistance against IOI.
I have a feeling it has something to do with IROC. I have a feeling it has something to do with that, with IROC being a new creation.
Another thing that didn't need to be there except for comedy relief.
No. IROC served a purpose. IROC, there's comedy relief, but IROC served a purpose.
I didn't really care that they didn't establish that he was related with H earlier. Like in the book, he's related with H, and then he gets kind of brought over to IOI. But he just becomes the goon for IOI at the beginning of the movie. They just immediately jump him to the other side because they don't need to explain that history, which is fine for me. But yeah, he was just kind of like the goofy clown.
Yeah. T.J. Miller's character.
Yeah, the T.J. Miller character was just, just T.J. Miller.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's a griefer, and he did, and I thought they did a good job with making him just, a bounty hunter, because there would be people that would be like that. You know what I mean? Like I get they're trying to make him kind of like
there would be characters like that. I just thought he had too large a role in the movie.
Okay, well then, okay, Matt. What I'm hearing from you is you appreciate the movie because it's so much of like another story within the Ready Player One universe. It's not Ready Player One.
No,
Because
it is Ready Player One. The narrative structure.
You keep saying like they didn't explain this, and yeah, they didn't explain
Well,
that.
this is how every adaptation goes. I mean,
I don't mind that they took this liberty, or I'm like,
yeah, no, I don't. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to think of another adaptation that's like, what is it? I think I said in even like look at the Harry Potter series, for example. Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2 were pretty close in terms of the adaptation, give or take a few things.
Right.
Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, fuck, what the hell, right? Like just totally took it to a few places. You're like, I don't, okay. Then Goblet of Fire, like what the fuck? You know, a couple things were changed there. Holy shit, you know, and don't even get me started on Half-Blood Prince. However, they're enjoyable in their own right because you still get the idea of what's going on. And that didn't change at all with this movie. I mean, like what I really enjoyed was the second challenge was really the third challenge from the book,
right,
just with a different movie. And I fucking loved the Shining scene. I thought that was fantastic. Like the recreation of the Overlook Hotel. Again, I'm an Oregonian, so fucking Timberline Lodge, baby.
Yeah, I thought that the Shining scene was really because it looked like The Shining.
It did. It fucking did.
It was eerie in that. I love
they
that.
They even had the film grain.
It did.
They did so great in the girls and the elevators. I mean, I was
really good.
Blown away by it. That's what I say. The look is like Valerian. Valerian
It's
had an
beautiful.
amazing look. It looks so pretty, but they really fucked up a story that could have been a lot better.
It could have been a lot better, but I will say I don't regret watching it.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. I mean,
I will. I'll probably buy it. I'll probably buy a digital copy when it comes out.
Look, you bought Jupiter Ascending, even though I told you it was a horrible movie.
True. I buy almost any sci-fi movie.
I bought The Last Jedi, so and I've done nothing but complain about that movie. So there's that.
Yeah, but it's a Star Wars movie. I mean, that is a bad Star Wars movie is still better than most of the crap that comes out nowadays. So.
This is a really bad Star Wars movie.
We all can agree on that. But the idea there with like Ready Player One, what I liked about like the second one, because again it became this, the friends are trying to solve this mystery and not just Wade on his own, because I liked Wade's journey quite a bit in the book, but it was also like, how do you film that? How do you film?
Here's what I said, and I have a little bit of a discrepancy for it, but this needed to be a 3-part movie.
And it needed to be like a mini series on HBO.
Right. It needed to be a copper key, a jade key, and a silver key movie, or crystal key movie. That's what it needed to be, because it needed to be like Lord of the Rings or the Hunger Games or something like that, because it needed that much.
It needed to breathe.
Room. It needed to breathe because there's so much going on. They shoehorn so much and so fast that if you hadn't read the book, it's coming at you quick. And it's like you could quickly miss something, and it was gonna.
Well, the thing is, the movie for me is very much designed for repeat viewings, and so there's very much a lot there in the background. Like I'm trying to look to see like what are the Easter eggs, what are the little tidbits here and there. Like you know what I will say though, Mark Rylance as James Halliday was fantastic.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't bothered by it.
Like that was good casting.
Yeah, at first I was a little disappointed because I was like, really, is he going to be able to pull it off? But then like bringing like the autistic, the Asperger's part of it, and then like you know what like the whole thing at the end, like thanks for playing my game, is just like
just kind of like it's just over. It's just so nonchalant to him, and that's fine. Actually, I think those scenes were fine. James Morrow, I don't know if they just couldn't afford Simon Pegg, but like James Morrow's birthday party just became they went out to a nightclub for the night.
Yeah, and that kind of bothered me.
I was like, why couldn't you just
why couldn't you Morrow did not matter.
Yeah, why make James Morrow somehow still involved with Oasis to a certain extent? And
except he just slides in the last few minutes.
Yeah, and goes,
says all this stuff and ties a bow on everything.
I was the robot guy at the thing. Like, what?
Until they said that, I was like, well,
I know. Well, that's why I said like if they were going to establish the resistance, then Og should have been the one who was leading it, because at the end of the book, you know, he ends up like getting all of them together at his place to kind of lead the final charge
That's right.
on Anorak's castle in
Right.
order to unlock the third thing. So like he's already like, look, I may not be involved, but I'm still going to help out. And he already was kind of, you know, having access to all the code and being able to go into their private server, you know, and talk to them or, you know, eavesdrop and shit, was an interesting, you know, would have been an interesting area to explore in the film. And I would have loved to have seen more out of that. I felt like if he would have been the one who was kind of guiding them maybe to like get there or like help out a little bit here and there, because he wanted people who were worthy of it to have it, you know, but there was a thing at the end there, like, oh, it opens the door. Oh, who are these people? Oh, they're your lawyers. They're going to be your friends right now. Like, you know, and just all that jazz. Yeah. He showed up and he kind of put a bow on it and wrapped the whole thing up. But I would have liked to have seen more out of that. But I think when it came to the core story, the core themes they were pushing for here were family and love, right? And a lot about love. And
it needed to be more 90s. Okay.
It did need to be a bit more 90s. I could see that in terms of trying to the will they won't they situation.
No, you know what? Honestly, I think Simon Pegg's interaction being the just putting a nice bow on the end, just saying toodaloo, was actually the most 80s 90s thing about it. Just, you know, oh, we gotta close this movie. We've just all right, just have this character come back and go. That was the most 90s way to end it. It's just let's just get the ending to just happen real happy real quick. Bring this character back. Oh, he was here the whole time. Thanks, Scooby.
Hey, Pat, apparently they're having trouble hearing you in the chat.
Good. Fuck the chat. I'm sorry. I love the chat.
Yeah, look, it's his first time. It's his first time hosting on his channel.
Oh,
And,
cut him a little bit of slack. He's excited.
I don't know which. Look, I don't know which thing I'm supposed to put on this thing. Do I have the right microphone on?
Yeah, check that. Hit the little gear.
It's on.
Here's my question, guys. How much do you think Ernest Clint sold his soul to rewrite to write that script?
Well, he came in to offer some collaboration, but Zach Penn was the main writer. Zach Penn wrote X-Men 1, X-Men 2, and the original draft for the Avengers that Joss Whedon adapted for the 2012
so he's the
film.
one that fucked up Wolverine and Sabretooth's relationship in the first X-Men. Got it. Cool. That guy really sucks at adaptations. If you want to start talking to X-Men stuff, I will sit there and just go all day. I get so pissed at the X-Men movies. It's unreal.
Yeah, you have to just look at them like they're adaptations, man.
I do. I still liked Wolverine Origin, and everyone hated that. Because
I liked it too. I mean, outside of like the reactor scene at the end, everything else I found enjoyable.
No, I liked it. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. Like, I feel about X-Men or Marvel movies the same way I feel about Star Wars movies. It's still better than the crap they're pumping out these days. I'll still enjoy it. It's better than other crap. Like, I bought Last Stand. I thought X-Men Last Stand sucked dick, but I still bought the damn thing because maybe I want to complete my series. I don't know.
It's because Pat and I went to see that together in the theater. He gets sentimental.
No, I was drunk. If I go see it with you in the theater, I get drunk and I forget half the movie.
Yeah, I know. They put a bar in our theater, and that's a fucking problem for us. We show up an hour early, we get hammered, and then we sort of watch a movie, and then have to buy the DVD later or buy a digital copy later so we can watch it and understand it.
In between bathroom breaks, we go to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So
this one, I tried not to get as hammered. We did do a few Jaeger shots. I had a Jack and Coke and a beer, so I had a little buzz on. But this one, I did remain a lot more conscious than I did, let's say, Fury Road or
Star Wars.
Yeah, Force Awakens. I don't really. I was there. I was present.
When I rewatched Force Awakens later on,
it's a totally different movie.
I was like, wow, that is not in the movie I watched. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this my action is a conscious. I was like, look, he wasn't in the same state of mind. He watched it on his own, and he came to the same conclusion. It was a shit fucking movie.
After watching this movie, I'm gonna have to go watch Black Panther 3 more times to cleanse my palate.
I don't know. I'm just gonna come out and say it. This was better than Black Panther, and
Uh,
I love Black Panther.
you
I
are in
did.
hiding, sir. You are in hiding right now.
But but Black Panther. But I mean, like, listen, what it was good, but it wasn't a Spielberg movie. I'm sorry.
Thank God it was.
Cougar did a good job. He ain't Spielberg.
It would be Black Panther kittens and shit by now.
Look, I will say I'm a huge Spielberg fan, and I don't have a problem with the direction, the production. I think it was beautiful, and but but he did approve this script.
And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is a problem for me,
The script
and
is
I love
the movie looks beautiful, and I mean, if it actually had a story that was concise and made sense and didn't just add stupid shit just for random storylines, it would be a great story. But it just was. It's too far off the mark from what I think that book was supposed to be.
That was how I felt. I felt like instead of just taking the important parts of the book and trying to condense the book, they tried to like rewrite the book in a 2-hour movie.
Right.
That was the difference. So I didn't have the feel for the characters. I didn't have I didn't care about these gates all of a sudden because like the movie or the book takes place over like a series of years.
Yeah.
The movie makes it feel like it happened in 2 weeks. Like all of a sudden he falls in love with this girl and then she bails on him and then she meets him, and that was the other thing. All of a sudden Artemis is the one that ends up going into the IOI prison instead of, which made no sense to me.
None.
Other than the fact that they're going to put the damsel in distress again, and that the
Which
guy's
is
going to be
completely
hero.
against her character type.
Which wait, hold on here. She was, yes, okay. There was the element of damsel in distress, but at no point do I think that she was necessarily a damsel.
No,
they never went in to go rescue her. She actually got out. She got into a pod. She fought in the final battle, and then snuck her way out of there before being discovered. So like she very much was a capable person, and she showed that in that scene. Yeah, they helped her get out because they were going to go rescue her, right? They're going to rescue her like, Han and Luke went after Leia and shit.
Right.
But then when they got her out because they weren't physically there.
But it wasn't necessary.
They
didn't need to make it her.
Yeah, they kind of did.
No, they fucking didn't.
Because if they would have made it Wade, then they would not, like, Wade, he would have been stuck in there, and Wade wouldn't have had the months that he spent in there working to get his way out.
The entire part of the book where he plans to go to the jail and do that thing was very important to the story because that's how he got a lot of the information to do this. Look, that scene, that was very important. And they took the whole scene out and just threw her into jail for no reason, really. I'm gonna have to. I'll fight you on this one.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's like I'm saying the scene that I understand why he did it in the book.
Just let him go to jail as like it's the same idea that he had an idea to shut down the shield. If he just let himself get busted and then just make it fast track it like they did the whole movie, they could have done the exact same amount of time. But for some reason, they're like, we're just gonna let Artemis go in, and then they're gonna try to bust her out, but then she's gonna actually kind of hold her own, like the badass she is, and then they'll just move on. Everything's fine. Like that was what it was so out of left field. They didn't need to do that. They could have just kept it truer to like had they had the balls to just go ahead and let Wade like say, look, I got a plan. It's gonna be risky, and you're gonna hate me for doing this, and then have them like, what the fuck? That was another thing. The fucking reveal on H. It was so. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, hey, not what you expected. Go to hell.
Yeah, it was such an emotional moment in the book, but in the movie, it was like, oh yeah, whatever. I got tits. Let's move on. It was like, what? Like it meant nothing, and everyone lived in the same town.
In the book, they had a huge falling out after the whole key thing, and there was no problem to find out. Oh, you're a chick now, and because you've been my best friend, and we ain't been separated for. No, that's. Ugh.
I will say when I would love an explanation as to when Artemis sends out the code to H and Daito and Shoto, and they just show up in like the fucking van like a minute later,
right?
Like, oh, we got the call. So wait, you guys were all in Columbus, like everyone here was all in like that part. That part was I need a bit more explanation on.
Exactly. That was like, oh, so we all live in the same city. Okay, yeah. Hey, the two Japanese dudes. Yeah, you're really Japanese in Columbus. That's great.
Well, I mean, Columbus, Ohio has a very, very large and influential Japanese community. We all know that.
Of course, of course. That's why I'm filming my next samurai movie. It's gonna be in Columbus, Ohio.
Just
Sorry.
Ronin of Columbus or something.
Columbus Ronin. Columbus Ronin. Thanks for the new.
Like, I mean, I'm quickly reading through the plot outline on Wikipedia of the book to kind of refresh my memory. And yeah, there are definitely things like I totally forgot about the Blade Runner bit. And they could have used Blade Runner because it's a Warner Brothers.
All right, can everyone hear me better now? Am I louder?
Wow. Wow. Dramatically louder.
Good. Now I can yell better.
What did you do? What did you change?
I put my headphones on with the ones you bought me for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm wearing those too.
Twinsies.
Trying to use that snowball mic you gave me, you piece of shit.
I think that's just settings on that computer, man. You got to set those input recording levels.
I don't know what that means, man.
I know. Anyway, Matt, you were in the middle of a thought there.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's like there are elements of the movie. I do wish they would have done more similar to the book, and I get you guys' arguments, but I'm looking at it from like the face value perspective of like.
I'm gonna have to agree with Patrick on this thing. They should have done this as they did The Hobbit and made it into 3 movies. This would have been Ready Player One.
They could have done part 1, part 2. I don't know if 3 movies would have been necessary.
Well,
we want 3.
Part 2. Before you do part 1 and 2 and 3, each movie gets a key, and the final key is the crystal key. That's the final movie. That would have made sense. Could have gotten more in depth of the story.
Well, because you would have felt each key and gate had more relevance. Because honestly, this movie just didn't feel like they meant a lot. It just meant like you're just the fastest one with the dash to get them. That really didn't feel like a big accomplishment.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't feel like they were hard. It seemed like the whole movie that there weren't years that this was going on and struggling to get this. It's like they were playing the first level of cruising for 7 years, and then all of a sudden, all this happens in like 4 days.
Right.
That's really what it felt like. And it just, yeah. Look, and actually, Matt softened me a little bit. He's well, man, I'm really bad at blood sports. Sorry.
No. Oh, you missed my joke about that earlier.
Chud sports.
This is Chud sports.
Oh yeah.
So we're cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Okay, that's what we are. All right.
I mean, you softened me on the aspect that look. Yeah, man, I understand. You're gonna have to you have to make some major changes. And actually, Pat and I talked about this earlier, but a lot of the things in there, it was just so much. I compounded so much that by the end of the movie, I actually walked out without seeing the last couple of minutes.
We were just ranting and raving in the parking lot by that point.
Yeah. And looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
Too much stimulation too quick, and not enough actual storyline to go. That's why they put all the visuals out to you. And you're like, oh, this is beautiful. It doesn't have to make sense. That's what happened, I think. I'm like, yeah.
No, I mean,
and hey, I married 2 girls who fit that exact description. I did it.
As you should have, sir.
No, the way I look at it's like this: is the nuts and bolts of the story were there, but a lot of
there was no nuts in the story, bro.
Yes, there was. The nuts and bolts of the story were there. The idea was there, the core concept. They built a story around it that is similar enough in theme, but they changed it from an isolated story to one that would be something similar to what you would have gotten out of Amblin Entertainment.
Okay, look, hold on.
No, did you know
my favorite
played before the movie, the Amblin logo. That should have told you everything you needed to know.
Yeah, that's true. They did ET. Yeah,
look,
okay.
All right, look. My favorite book is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right.
The movie is a decent adaptation of the book with some changes to it that didn't take me away or make me feel that it wasn't the same thing.
Never mind that the fact they put the ending of the 4th book at the end of the 1st movie.
Yeah, they threw in an ending because they needed to wrap that shit up, because they didn't know if they were going to get another movie.
That's a pretty big change, right?
Look. Yeah. But here's my thing though. The overall arc of the movie, the entertainment of that movie, fit fine for me. Yes, it wasn't the ending I was expecting when I watched the movie, but it did still feel like Hitchhiker's Guide. They also thought they were also going to get a second movie out of it.
I'm actually really upset they never completed the series. I
Yeah.
loved Hitchhiker's Guide. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought the movie visually looked great, and it looked how I expected it to look. And they did the right, the having Stephen Fry do the readings. I thought everything was great, but the movie was. I felt the movie does great alongside the book. I do not feel this movie goes alongside the book decently. This is shit comparatively. Once again, I was like, if Hunger Games can get a 3-part movie, how the fuck did this not get a 3-part movie?
Yeah, but to be fair, if we're gonna bring up Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2 effectively killed
Oh my
the
God.
the breakdown of like one book into multiple parts.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true.
That was a money grab. Okay, that point was a money grab.
and that failed. That's why we never got the 4th fucking Divergent movie, which I think we're all okay with.
You're cutting deep, motherfucker.
Oh, no.
You're gonna go after that shit? You want to go, motherfucker? I will go. I lost money because of that.
Yeah. Actually, Pat was on. All right, AJ, my roommate AJ is actually pretty prominent in those movies.
Insurgent. He's in Insurgent.
He's all over. And Pat was there actually for more filming days. Hey,
Got cut. They cut me out of Insurgent. They cut me out completely out of Insurgent.
Cut him completely out of Insurgent. And then we still went to the premiere and sat there.
All you see like a split second of me walking across the screen. That's all you see. Insurgent, you see me bebop by, and then I'm there for like most of the filming for Allegiant. I haven't even watched the whole movie yet. I've seen parts of it, but the scenes I've seen, I'm not in it. So I'm like, fuck, I got cut out of the movie too. And like AJ, who just showed up for like a couple days, gets fucking featured.
Tell him the story. Tell him the story.
I don't want to talk about it, dude. That chicken is gonna haunt me.
Yeah.
God.
All right, AJ's got a scene where what was that scene? I know AJ's line.
This is where they're trying. Okay, if anybody ever watched the Divergent series, if you watched or read it, this is the scene where they're down in the factionless area, and they're all deciding that they need to go ahead and let Shailene Woodley's character go. She needs to just be. They need to send her over. And the Dauntless, which was my group, said, "No, we're not letting her go. They'll have to come through all of us first." And they're kind of like resisting and being all steampunky or whatever our character's supposed to be. And
emo.
Yeah, emo punk. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And so we're filming that all day. And they cut scene. They send us up for lunch, but then they say, I guess they decided to shoot like one extra little scene. And AJ says, "Hey, I think they're gonna film something else. I'm gonna go back down there." I went, "But they're about to serve lunch." And he goes, "Yeah, but I really want to see what they're about to film." And I go, "Okay, you're gonna miss lunch." And I stay up there for some very dry, overcooked chicken.
Yeah, but they had just brought it out.
They just brought it out so steamy and dry, and AJ stays down there, and all of a sudden he has a line in the fucking movie where he goes, "Yeah, all of us."
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
He's got a speaking role all of a sudden, and Pat's eating dry chicken in services.
I literally had like in that filming of the movie, I had a mark I had to be at where it was like if I wasn't there, they had to cut and reshoot it because I wasn't on my mark at the right time. Like I had placement. They had a mark with my name on it. This motherfucker has to stand here because he's right here with the characters. That scene gets cut completely. AJ skips chicken and gets a line in the goddamn movie.
Well,
the question is, did he get paid more for it?
No, he got paid the same.
But he ended up being in the credits.
Oh, what's funny is that
no, he didn't. Wait, no, he did get credit.
Yeah, he did get credit, and he got that wage bump.
Yeah, you should go.
Well, I had the wage bump too, though. I got the same wage.
You did.
I got the same wage bump.
You had a speaking line, so that should have made him a speaking extra or something.
What?
I'm saying that he got a speaking line that should have bumped him up to a featured extra, which is more money.
That's right.
Because Georgia isn't a union state, so like even though SAG does count when you're working on a film, some of the rules don't always apply. And so just because he had a speaking role doesn't mean he immediately had to sign up for SAG. You have to have a certain amount of time on set, and you have to have a certain amount of lines that you speak. And because his line was actually kind of like just spoken out over the crowd, it was based off a crowd noise, but his line was prevalent.
I think he is in SAG though.
Oh, did he get his SAG thing?
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
All right, but actually, you're helping. This actually is helping Matt's argument against the 3-movie model for this book. Because
but hold on.
third movie
No, shut the fuck up, Matt. Well, let me tell you what the problem was. The problem with Divergent was the first movie was great, and the director refused to film the second movie within that year. He wanted to give it a little more time, but they were trying to go straight up against Hunger Games, which at that point was at full pump, which I never got on that set. God damn it. It's also filmed here in Atlanta. But they were pumping that.
They were the same studio.
They're what?
Isn't it? It's Divergent was Lionsgate, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right?
Was it Lionsgate? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was Lionsgate, and so was fucking Hunger Games.
Well, they had to release under a different name, but yeah, the way that Lionsgate's kind of like Dimension was. It's like it's owned by the bigger company that just don't want to put it on their name, so they throw it like Touchstone was Disney, but they wanted their.
Oh, it was sorry. It was Summit Entertainment who did Divergent, but then Summit was absorbed by Lionsgate not too long ago.
Probably because of Divergent.
Summit did a lot of movies that ended up.
But it was one of those. It's like that though, where it's like, had you given the book, let the book be what it was supposed to be, and give the movies credence. They just the Twilight kind of frenzy to gain that attention. You can do a 3-part, like I've said, Lord of the Rings, even though I don't even watch Lord of the Rings, but I have very good reasons for that. That the Lord of the Rings did it very, very well. All 3 movies play their parts, and they fit together as the whole book, right. And because it needed that. But and I felt Hunger Games up until they started trying to just money grab. I thought actually Hunger Games 1 and 2 were doing that, were staying that course pretty well. It stayed very interesting. This could have milked it out for a couple extra movies. They just didn't. They could have fucked off. They could have Spider-Man 3 the fucking 3rd movie. It wouldn't have mattered because they know they're going to get that money regardless. They just need to make 2 decent movies.
It should be 2 different movies. This book should be 2 different movies.
Well, here's the thing. So a few months ago, Ernest Cline did confirm that he's writing a sequel
to
the book, which means it's already going to probably be fast-tracked for a movie.
Seriously?
I'm
excited, actually. I'm genuinely
that's you know what?
I love his writing. His other book was an Armada. I really liked
Armada.
it.
Armada.
I loved Armada.
Here's the thing. I grew up. Okay, so in the beginning of Armada, I keep thinking Ernie Cline is from Oregon, right?
He's getting that feel.
He keeps referencing it, but he didn't grow up there at all. Except he mentions something in Armada. He mentions Malibu Grand Prix, right? In the beginning couple chapters of Armada,
right?
And the thing was, I grew up next to that Malibu Grand Prix. He referenced that was the only one in the area, and that was like literally 2 miles from where I grew up.
That's one of those things where they make a reference and it's too specific to be incidental. Like he either traveled to that area or had a family member that lived there. It was like I felt that way when I was watching what's that show 30 Rock, where they kept referencing Stone Mountain, Georgia,
right,
and making fun of McBride's character, and I kind of kept like they're talking too directly about a very niche area in Georgia.
Yeah, and getting it wrong.
And fucking it up. But it was like, apparently McBride is from Georgia. I think he's from Macon, though. But it was like, they basically were... So you start getting this weird feel like, why do they have this information? Who's their spy? But
yeah. Here we have the redneck hillbilly kid from College Park.
Well, that's wrong.
Oh wow! I didn't realize this, but Alan Silvestri did the music for Ready Player One.
I like the music.
I thought the 80s and 90s did the music.
No, because you heard like when they mentioned the Zemeckis cube.
Yeah.
And then he uses it. You hear that little jingle from the end of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Which I loved, and that was him throwing that in there. But this guy also did the soundtrack for the Avengers, Predator, Predator 2, The Mummy Returns.
Oh, that's it, man. That's the other thing. And now I'm looking at this stuff. The fact that they never even the scoreboard didn't seem to like. It was so prevalent in the movie and what the scores were and who was in plays. They just kind of like They just kind of like reference it real quickly and just flash past it. Like It wasn't like the scoreboard didn't hold weight. And why he became a celebrity, it was like it didn't mean anything.
Well, it's pretty easy to figure that out. It's like the scoreboard sat blank for 7 years or 8 years or however the fucking long it was, right? And then all of a sudden, there's Parsifal's name. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's going to know who he is. And that was referenced in the movie when he goes back into Halliday's whatever. And then everyone's like, oh, my God, you're fucking, you're Parsifal. Holy shit. Yeah, selfie. Yeah. Then that was the whole joke about here's the Clark Kent glasses that disguise your face without forcing you to change your avatar and put on this really goofy looking fucking suit. Right? Like, totally just referencing another another artifact in the game. As well as just here, let's make fun of Superman, Clark Kent real quick. Put on the goofy hair, and on all that shit. Like it was a fun little gag, but it totally set up the whole celebrity aspect. Never mind the fact, go to the end of the movie when they're at the stacks and they, and they beat Sorrento. The cops show up. Look at all the girls in the background. All the girls have Artemis fucking posters.
Okay,
right? I didn't catch that.
No, look, I said we were drunk. Also, Sorrento
not paying attention.
Did Sorrento like his avatar not feel like Sorrento to me? Like
I did not care for like when they said they cast Ben Mendelsohn as Sorrento. I was kind of like, I liked him as a bad guy in Rogue One, but I'm kind of like, I just don't. He didn't really because he says that in the movie. He says, "Look, I'm not just some corporate asshole, right?" And that's exactly who he was. He was a corporate asshole. But then when they said, "Oh, this was a dude who got their coffee. He knew how to make a good latte." Right? Like you could see his motivation was just fuck these people. They never listened to what I had to say. They never took anything I said seriously. So I worked with IOI. I convinced them to try to take over the Oasis. And that's me saying, fuck you to Halliday. Right now, they could have done more, I think, to exemplify this on screen, but that the bones of that beef were there. But I would have figured and stick with me on this one. I would have preferred, and I know the age range isn't right because of what they did, but the guy who played Wesley in the first season of Daredevil, the Kingpin's assistant, that guy would have been a good Sorrento because he can bring that like intensity to the character.
Yeah. You know what?
Mendelsohn kind of felt like he was just a slimy business guy doing whatever needed to be done.
I will agree with you on that character, dude. Wesley, dude.
Wesley. That would have been my choice. But from him he wouldn't have been old enough to be. An assistant back in the like 20 years earlier and shit.
Well, that's also from the movie. That wasn't in the book, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't remember that being in the book at all either. But they needed to establish a reason why Sorrento wanted to take this down. And
but Sorrento's avatar was like beefy Superman. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Because he's a big boss man. What was his password? Was it boss? Big boss man.
Was it big boss man?
That was what it was. It was big boss man. That was the whole point. That was the whole, and I love that gag, by the way. I love the gag of him writing down his fucking password and putting on a goddamn post-it note.
Right on his chair.
Old fuckers do.
Look, I'll give you, all right.
That upsets me because I literally have my password, but I got it right on the back of my...
If you ever want to get access to Poison...
It's on the back of this.
Then you can sit there, break into his house, and steal his name and password.
Yeah, once you break into my house, take it. Because I am a gun-toting motherfucker. Okay, when I say gun tote, my wife has a gun, but I have nunchucks. Which means if you break in, I will knock myself unconscious and let you do what you want.
This is true.
Stop you. I have gun nunchucks.
That sounds really dangerous. I got gunchucks.
I do have a confession. And it has to do with drinking at the beginning of Ready Player One. I was a good 20 to 30 minutes in before I solved the mystery that I've been asking myself, which was, why do these dudes have 101 on their hats?
Are you fucking serious?
Wow.
You just left yourself out of the fucking argument now.
Wow.
This is why I don't drink before movies.
Fonts matter.
So
Matt, let me explain why you should
It
drink.
could have been LOL.
Let me tell. Yeah, it really should have been LOL.
I read IOI because I've read the pickup the mystery method, right? Like I had to read that for research like about a decade ago, and IOI on there stands for indicators of interest. So every time he's like IOI, I'm like that's what I think of every time. So,
Look, let me tell you something. Okay, why you should drink before you go see a movie in the theaters, because you are going to miss enough of the movie that the next time you watch it, you get to enjoy it completely.
Let me fill you in on my past to tell you why I don't like to do that. I used to work at a drive-in movie theater, and I mean like we're talking over a decade. And we only had 2 screens and 4 movies. So I would watch the same movie over and over and over again.
If you were drunk, you would have loved it.
Whatever, man. I'd watch it a lot. I have seen Pirates of the Caribbean north of 65 times at my theater because we ran it for 11 weeks at twice a night.
Wow.
I've watched the movies.
That sounds like my heaven. I love it.
It's a good movie. I still watch it to this day. The point I'm trying to get to here is I will watch movies and I will pick up on details. So what I do now is I watch it. There might be things that I missed, but I'm also a lot more open because I've written movies, I've directed movies, short films, stuff like that. So I look for those little things that are mentioned in the dialogue that are something that they show here, show there, that could be used to kind of maybe figure out something.
Well, then why are you so bad at movie reviews?
Because I like everything, motherfucker.
You know what? I'm a little. I like Matt's movie reviews, and actually, it's because Matt is a lot more forgiving. Like I am. Really, there are not a whole lot of movies I come out upset and.
There's not a lot of movies that I go out to that on opening weekend for.
That's true, but this one really set me off. It really did. But generally, I tend to agree with Matt on most of his movie reviews. The Star Rogue One is, or not. I'm sorry. Yeah, is where we started to split. Matt,
I don't get the hatred of Rogue One. Like
Rogue One was so bad.
I don't get. Okay,
she was a worthless character the entire time. Other than knowing what her nickname was, she was worthless. A piece of shit character. Other than them bumping it up right up to the end of the movie and making it tag into New Hope, it was a worthless movie and stupid as fuck. It's like Terminator 3, where the whole movie's just a bunch of shit and it's just a bunch of just lines and pecks and shooting shit. Except for the very end, it's like, oh, we're leading straight to Judgment Day. It just tags it right into Part 2. Like, it was a piece of shit movie. It was bad. Starts off great, horrible movie.
I disagree.
Well, because you're wrong.
Watch it multiple times and you will see the greatness.
I have. I watched it several times.
And actually, I liked Rogue One. I just knew it would set Pat off, and I'm really, really enjoying that. So thank you, Pat. You delivered.
You got to sit there. If you're like The Last Jedi was a good movie, that would set me off. So that's how you get me on that one.
I
like it better than Rogue One.
Didn't hate it.
Dude.
It wasn't good, but it's better than Rogue One.
Rogue One was awesome.
I was excited.
Showed the war.
I was excited when Force Awakens came out. I was excited. By Rogue One, I went, okay, the excitement's dead. They've done the same shit that the episodes 1 through 3 anymore. They're just trying to like jerk me off with a bunch of Star Wars crap and just make me work with it. I just wasn't into it. But I thought Rogue One was such a dismal piece of crap. And then when I watched the newer one, I was like, it's fine.
Look, Rogue One is a much better movie than Last Jedi because of one line specifically. And whoever says the phrase Godspeed and the Last Jedi should be killed. Because apparently they added a god into the fourth universe, which really makes it.
Yeah, that's bad phrasing.
Yeah, it should have been that.
But you also get to find out that Kylo Ren is a thick boy.
So, Ben Swallow?
Swallow.
Fuck. Like, why wasn't he wearing a shirt?
Yeah, it made no sense. The whole scene.
This
This is like this is like a Top Gun where they put in a volleyball scene for no fucking reason. They're like, we gotta get this guy shirtless for somebody. All right. Yeah, and they're like,
Probably. I mean, yeah. Like, I'm surprised. I will say this though. Like, I'm kind of surprised War Games didn't make an appearance in some fashion in the movie.
yeah.
Oh,
Look,
couldn't
Because
agree
of
more.
how pivotal the scene was with that at the end of the
Yeah.
book.
Yes. That
But
really
but like I said, I liked how they took that and they translated it to The Shining.
but that was my issue. I think in the long run, it's like what were big pivotal moments in the book and very important relationships in the book. They didn't establish any of the relationships or the moments that were really required to
Right.
make it sink. That's why Shawshank Redemption was a good movie that was a decent adaptation of the book because they grabbed the moments that were needed and the pivotal moments that were, or the relationships that were necessary, and they were able to put them all together.
It's a lot cheaper
This movie.
to shoot fucking Shawshank Redemption. than
You're
it
right. I totally agree. But they didn't have to write a shitty movie. If they're gonna go ahead and pay that much CG.
The movie had a fine script. It was a fine, serviceable script. It set up the movie. It set up the plots. It knocked it down in a formulaic manner. You're not going to go in there to get blown away. The idea there is not to be blown away. The story is good, but it's not like, oh dear God, this is like the first blowjob I've ever gotten good. You know, it's
I'm sorry, my first blowjob had a lot of teeth involved. So I don't know what you're talking about.
well, you know, when you lay with dogs, you get fleas.
And bad blowjobs.
Well, that's just yeah. Stop fucking pit bulls.
Well, that's all that's on the other side of this chain link fence.
Well, he said.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else they want to fucking say before I'm going to just send like a shit package to Mundane Matt?
Here's the thing, though. I will say this, though. I did enjoy the characters. I did enjoy the characters quite a bit. I thought that they worked. I liked Artemis. I felt that there was a good relationship between them. Like
No, my problem was it had nothing to do with the actors were fine, the everything was fine, but the relationships weren't there to me. I didn't give a shit about nothing sank into me.
I did find when they were at the party and he was like, "I love you." You know, he's telling her that he loves her as she's basically like grinding up on his crotch, right? Like, did you catch the boner line?
Yeah. I literally, when he said that, I literally went, yuck. Really, really, right now, this is so forced.
No, that's my high school for me. That's how I do it.
But it's like also this kid, you could tell this kid's never kissed a girl. This kid's like, you know, he's a virgin. There's this girl that like, what I liked was H is like, you don't know if it's a girl. You have no freaking idea if it's a girl.
That was the one part where because he gets harassed by that through the book, but it was like just one reference. I was like, all right, I get it. They had to shim it down to one reference because they don't need to like hammer it home that Artemis could be a dude, but they didn't like. I don't know. I guess to me it was like had the race scene at the very beginning. I understand. Just like what was So Fain earlier today was the race scene at the beginning. Had they just made that just a Saturday races in the Oasis thing to get coin, just to give like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. They had just like this unnecessary fight scene with a thing at the beginning just to make it look really cool, right? They just need just to kind of grab your attention very early. So it would have been fine had it just been like the Saturday night races, and then he figures out and is able to quickly track down. You need to see Wade on his own for a little bit. You need to see him being clever and why we like him, and see him struggling to get there, and him getting there was just such a big accomplishment. And then his relationship with Artemis could have been sunken in really well, and then that probably would have made the rest of the movie play better, but it didn't. They just like jumped this relationship like instantaneously. They just jumped right to the quick of everything, and I was like.
I get that, and again, I'm not. I do think you have valid points there. It's also a 2-hour fucking movie, so you know.
So we agree it should have been a 3-parter. Got it.
No, it should have been like I would definitely go for like a part 1, part 2. If they were to come out like and say, you know, we want to turn this thing into like a 10-episode limited series event or something, right? They wanted to do that. Like, I think that'd be better to flesh out the story, but at the same time, what Spielberg still brought the magic. He still brought Spielberg magic to it.
That's the thing. It's like Spielberg brought the amazing visuals and this. I did feel immersed in that world, so that wasn't lost. But the story was they was so broken up. That's where it fucked everything up.
It was a bit, I'm not going to lie that it was that it was a formulaic script, because it was a formulaic.
They fractured the story too much and then had a formulaic to back together.
The story still happened. Points were hit. Like leading up to get there, it would have been different. Or things were obviously different. But it's
interesting. It was uninteresting when they hit the point. It was uninteresting. It was like,
right.
Oh, gee, he figured out to drive his car backwards. Yay.
Yeah. That was Fain and I were talking about that. He just drove his car in reverse. That was the key. That gets him into his first gate. Is he hit like reverse?
Yeah, see,
I thought that was actually quite interesting. I thought that was a fun way of going, because
then you're easily amused. I'll find you a paddle with a ball on it.
Of course, I'm easily amused. Jesus Christ! But no. The way that I see it is that like everyone's going forward. Everyone is always going forward. No one's ever thinking outside the box. And the whole point of that challenge was to think outside the box. It was like, wait, what if? And then he went backwards and he won it. And
then why wouldn't they just add in like, oh, if you shoot a banana past Kong, he jumps at it. Or a blonde chick. You throw a blonde chick past him, he jumps at the blonde chick and you just bail over his shoulder.
I think it showed you the inner workings of the Oasis, which I thought was very fascinating. That race was built and like they're all on the platforms. So he's driving around the platforms underneath. You get to see the code, how it's working, what Halliday was designing, how he designed it. I mean, it's the subtlety of the scene.
And there was some of that, because at first I was immediately annoyed, but then while the scene was playing out, I found that angle was interesting, and I was willing to forgive it. It wasn't till later that I was like, nope, and then I went back and said, oh, this is unforgivable now.
It's stuff that's so later in the movie to fuck up the rest of the movie in front of that. That was
Then I started rewinding and going, you know what? Fuck all this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm very disappointed in this movie. I want to bitch slap Spielberg at least one time, and that's it. And wait! I think Matt likes Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, Mundane Matt would like Jeff Dunham. Just puppets, just dancing around.
Hey! You.
I love that, dude.
We'll set this out. Video on tape there. I know
Jeff Dunham's a funny motherfucker. He's no Bill Burr.
Right? Okay. Don't try to gain credence by throwing in Bill Burr at the end.
I'm just saying. I will build a wall and I will put you fucking through it. Okay. F is for free. Netflix 2018. I'm just saying it's coming.
Chud Sports, everybody.
Internet Chud Sports.
All right, well then, I guess we've yelled at each other enough. And when I see Matt at VidCon in LA, is that June?
Yeah, just a couple months.
Jesus, it's coming so fast. We'll be giving Mundane Matt the ultimate wedgie. And,
the movie could be on home video by then, and so we may have to.
Hey, you know what? If it's out on video by that point, we will sit down, rewatch it together. And we'll do another, and then argue, and then
live stream.
And just live stream, and just be punching you in the face, and you'll be watching it drunk.
I'll watch it drunk. I plan on being
it better
the entire time.
Mo, where are you traveling to next?
I'm off for a couple of weeks, but I'm doing what am I doing? I am doing a Colorado. I'm going over to Colorado and doing the 420 show at the Dab Lounge in Colorado Springs. On my way out there, I'm doing Fort Wayne, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, at the Mass Complex. Where else? I'm doing Leftwood in Amarillo, Texas, and then I go to the Bahamas for 2 weeks. I'll be drunk and naked on the balcony.
Oh, so you're going down to play? What's it, Joker's Wild?
Yep.
Love that. Is Big Cup still there?
Big Cup is not still there, but he's still there.
Like is he still doing the parrot bar? I'm trying to talk shop real quick, everybody.
He's trying to figure out where his phone call is.
Well, Big Cup's he was over doing the green parrot just outside. He was managing that for a minute too.
Right. Okay. I
Okay.
think last time I checked, I think he's still there.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him in a while.
Well, hey, if you when you get back down there, if you see Big Cup, tell him that Saints and Sinners said hi, and we miss him.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Word. All right. Well, everyone, check out Mo Alexander online. You can look him up. Very, very funny guy. Good friend of ours.
Slapthestupid.com is my website.
What was it? Say it one more time.
Slapthestupid.com is the website.
I will put it in the description.
There you go.
So everyone, check the description. You can check Mo Alexander. That way you can check his tour schedule if he's coming to town near you. Show up and say, Poison the Well sent me. And Mundane Matt is an idiot. So
We drink shots of tequila together. You say Poison the Well and Matt's an idiot.
perfect. All right. Anybody else? I'll put my fingers in my wife.
Oh, that's yeah. I don't want to talk after that.
You want to smell it? Look, smell that.
Nope.
All right. Well, then we will see you guys at VidCon
Yep.
2018, everybody.
Excited about it, and looking forward to hanging out again, Matt.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Night, everyone.